Well, hello once again, my fellow Star Trek fans. I hope you're doing well. I hope your Christmas season is going well as we approach yet another Christmas. It's mid-December, and the subject I want to talk to you guys today is, well, it's still Star Trek related. You could tell I love Star Trek. But today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a model kit or anything like that. Although there is a link to a collectible, and we'll get into that as the video goes along. So that you guys that watch my channel, you guys know that for one, I have a wide variety of interests. And I like to research certain things, and I like to make videos on the history of that subject. Now, it had mostly been about ships. I've done the history of the Edmund Fitzgerald, the RMS Titanic, the RMS Mauritania, Jacques Cousteau's Calypso. I've done a lot, the U.S.S. United States, and the most recent one was I did the history of the U.S.S. Arizona. Now those videos done very well, and what I like to do is I like to research. The whole process of me making a video is pretty interesting. One is doing all the research. I learn as much as I can from every source, and then I kind of write like a paper. Usually it's about 3 to 4 pages. And then of all the interesting facts, I go back and I fact check everything. And then once that's done, I'll correct it for the final draft, and then I'll narrate it. I'll make a sound file, and then I'll put it into the software that I use to make videos, and then I'll correspond the video and the pictures to the to that particular part that I'm narrating. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting off subject, but what I want to do this time is it's mostly been about ships. And I kind of deviated a little bit from the norm because I had done the history of Jacques Cousteau's PBY, the aircraft. And what I want to do now is I'm into planning to make a couple of history of videos of the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 herself. And when I do the collect the facts and do the research, I like to have something that's reliable. So I ended up, recently I got the XL Eagle Moss gold-plated U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701, as well as the XL gold-plated NCC-1701-D. And I will be doing those videos very shortly. But I also got something else in that shipment that I want to talk to you guys today about. And I want to show you what I got. This is the illustrated handbook, and this is Star Trek, the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 and the NCC-1701-A. Star Trek Illustrated Handbook, the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 and 1701-A, a detailed guide to Captain Kirk's ship from the TV series and the movies. Over 250 artworks and technical drawings. So I'm really looking forward to this. This was from Eagle Moss, the Hero Collector series. So I thought this was pretty cool. Now I do have a lot of information on the Enterprise and a lot of information on the A. But it's bits and pieces from a lot of different sources. I like the fact that I actually have a source that I can go back and try to fact check everything that I know or that I think I know about the two ships. And my thought was, while doing the information on the history of these ships, pulling a lot of the information or fact-checking them from this book, a lot of people may be interested to see the book itself. So, like I said, I got this book on sale, and I was very happy to get it. I got this from Eagle Moss as part of the shipment with the gold-plated ships. And let me just show you a little bit. You can see the cover. I already read it to you. You got a picture of Captain Kirk, picture of the bridge, and you got the beautiful U.S.S. Enterprise. Captain Kirk's original Starship Enterprise. Let me show you guys the back. Star Trek U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 and 1701-A, an illustrated handbook by Ben Robinson. The volume is an in-depth illustrated guide to the Constitution class U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 and the NCC-1701-A, showing Captain Pike and Captain Kirk's Enterprise in detail. The guide traces the ship's operational history and shows annotated exterior views, illustrations of key locations, including the main bridge, crew quarters, and equipment such as tricorders, communicators, and universal translators. With isometric illustrations and technical information from official sources, this book proves an extraordinary reference guide to these iconic TV and movie enterprises. You can see this was released in 2019. And this will be a good way of fact-checking everything that I think I know. Actually, let me show you another book that I have that I was doing the same thing with. Okay, so when it comes to, prior to getting this, one of the things that I used to fact-check all my Star Trek knowledge was this. And this is an old book. I've had this for a real long time. This is Star Trek Starfleet, the Technical Manual. Training, Command, Starfleet Academy, the United Federation of Planets, the Articles on Federation, the flags, seals, uniforms, navigation charts, equipment, organization, detailed schematics of Starfleet equipment, interstellar space warp technology, as well as Federation codes. Now, it's a little bit worn. Like I said, I've had this book for a long time, almost since I was a kid, and I just love this book. The Starfleet Technical Manual, and this book has a lot of stuff. Just about everything you could think of, this book would have. If you want to learn about it, from the chess, the hangar deck, the layouts, the transporter. It even had the universal translator, things like writing instruments, spray applicators, the Dr. McCoy, the medical tricorder. And I used this book quite a bit when I had done Dr. McCoy's tricorder for reference, as well as the Spock, Mr. Spock's one. Speaking of which, we got the science tricorder. And I'll be doing a special on the Wand Company tricorder coming up. You can see the controls and the consoles. Just about everything you can think of is in this book. I mean, it kind of touches the surface on a lot of things. Obviously, it's not an all-in-one. It's just if you have an idea of something from Star Trek and you want to confirm it or fact check it, this is a great place to do so. Right down to the uniforms. Anyway, this is the Technical Starfleet Manual. And up until this point, this is really the only book that I've ever had when it comes to Star Trek and using for fact checks. But I think what I want to do is, I'm going to see how this book is, and everything that I find in this book I can fact check or try to fact check in that. Let's show you guys the spine. U.S.S. Enterprise Illustrated Handbook. And again, this is by Eagle Moss, or their name is on it. StarTrek.com. And again, this is 2019 release. So why don't we take it over to the desk? The lighting will be better. And I'll show you guys its contents. Okay, so let's open it up and I'll show you guys the contents. There's something very satisfying about opening up a book for the first time, isn't it? And this is a hardcover book, just a hardcover edition. I'll show you guys the inside of the book. Star Trek. Love it. It does show you some on the inside flap. Let's get it up to you guys. NCC-1701 and a 1701-A. The volume featuring the U.S.S. Enterprise. Let's see, you can see from Star Trek the Motion Picture, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, 3, The Search for Spock, The Voyage Home, The Final Frontier, The Undiscovered Country, plus Captain Christopher Pike's Enterprise from the TV series Star Trek Discovery. Nice, so this is a really updated book. In a series of books that provides in-depth profiles of Star Trek universe, covering a wide range of topics from individual starships to races such as the Klingons, each full-color, heavily illustrated reference work is packed with isometric illustrations, artwork, photographs, and CG renders that features detailed technical information from official sources. Series is curated by Ben Robinson. And again, this is 2019. Let me show you guys. Let's see, when was this book? Like I said, I've had this one for so long. Yeah, first printing, 1975. So a lot of this one, you got to think of the time period too, because when it comes to the Enterprise, according to this, the photon torpedoes come out from B deck on top of the saucer section. And of course, we know that that's not true, especially for Star Trek, the TV series. But anyway, this is a book that I had up until this point. Now it has a sister book, and we have an updated version of everybody's favorite starship, or at least my favorite starship. So let's take a look through the contents. And let's see. The ISBN 978-1-858-755-786. And this appears to be the first printing. All right, so let's look at some of the contents. Got the history of the Enterprise. Chapter 2 is the Enterprise herself, the main bridge, briefing room, captain's quarters, transporter room. I'm getting excited just looking at this. Standard issue equipment, Starfleet equipment, and a laser cannon. We got Chapter 3, the exterior views, the main bridge, uniforms, insignias, the phasers, communicators, and the tricorders. And this is all updated, so this is going to be great. Chapter 4, the Enterprise, the exterior views, the main bridge, and this is the NCC-1701. Captain's chair, the helm, the navigation, the science station, communication station, engineering, main engineering, propulsion, impulse engines, sensors and a deflector, the transporter room, the turbo shafts, the shuttle bay, protocols for the shuttle bay, the Galileo, weapons and defense, sick bay, biobeds, decompression chamber, computer and medical tricorder, medical instruments, the hypersprays, the botanical facilities, captain's quarters, crew quarters, the 3D chess, the intra-ship communication system. Look, it's even got the M5 Multitronic computer. Nice. Standard issue equipment, the phaser, pistols, personal communicators, tricorder, universal translators, life support, anti-gravity lifters, environmental suits, the Starfleet uniform insignia, and the uniforms that were used in 2266. Chapter 5, we got the refit. Again, this is part of my favorite ship. I consider her one, the 01 and a refit. We got the comparisons, the exterior views, the main bridge engineering, the suits, torpedo bay, docking, the worker bees, the phaser pistols, type 1 and type 2, the tricorders, different years, the 2270s as opposed to 2285 in the updates, the auto-destruct sequence, 000 destruct 0, environmental suits, the space suits, the bio beds, the Starfleet uniforms. Chapter 6, now we go to the Enterprise A, and we get the main bridge, forward observation room, the warp nacelles, propulsion, weapons and defense, the captain's quarters, the brig, the Jeffries tubes, the shuttle bay, the Galileo 5 shuttlecraft, the galley, the phasers, the levitation boots, the environmental suits, Starfleet insignias, the uniforms. So there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be in here. We got the acknowledgements forward, and right off the bat, look at this absolutely beautiful view of my sweetheart, really, my childhood sweetheart, looking absolutely spectacular. The history of the Enterprise. And you can see some absolutely great pictures of the Enterprise under Captain Pike. We got Jeffrey Hunter, and then we have the new Captain Kirk from Star Trek Discovery, and of course we've got Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner. Beautiful pictures of the Enterprise, and this is from Discovery. So a lot of these pictures are going to be fantastic. A lot of the pictures that I get, especially like with the Titanic, I got a couple of Titanic books that I really depend on for my information, photos. I'm going to do the same thing for this book. Because my other Star Trek book, there's really no pictures. Everything is kind of an illustration. We got Khan. We've got the Klingons. We got the Tholians. And Star Trek the Motion Picture, we got V'ger. She's just so beautiful. And this is just going to be amazing. Oh, I can't wait to start reading it. And we've got the Enterprise, Captain Pike's. Look at how gorgeous. Matter of fact, this is the one that I want to do, the 1350 that I got, the new kit. I want to do the same exact model that was pictured on the street. The first filming model. Look at the bridge, how high the bridge is. And of course the nacelles didn't light up. We got the main bridge. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. I'm going to get a wealth of information from this book, I can just tell. Let's try to just kind of go through it quickly. You can see some of the other books that are available. They do the same thing for the Enterprise D. That'd be a nice book. You can see also available the different ships, the Klingon fleet. Let's see the bottom. Discovery, the Kelvin timeline, the Voyager. So this is really cool. And this is a real quality book. This is the hardcover. You can see the uniforms. Love it. Space suits, the environmental suits, the hand phasers, the galley. That's great. It seems like, is it me or do we see the galley more on Voyager than we did anywhere else? We got the shuttlecraft, Galileo, and shuttlecraft number 5. We got the shuttle bay, captain's quarters, weapons and defense. We've got the deflector shields. We got the warp nacelles, the forward observation room. Oh, this just really has everything. I love it. The main bridge. And this is a beautiful depiction of the Enterprise A. Look at that Aztec-y. Now, I had read that the A was actually the U.S.S. Yorktown. Let's see if that fact checks this in the book. The uniforms, the insignias, the biobeds, spacesuits, the auto-destruct. I hate that. I hated that part. Most heartbreaking part of Star Trek, for me anyway. I saw it as a kid in a movie theater. And I just sat there and bawled my eyes out. I couldn't believe they were killing my sweetheart. The tricorders, the Type 2 hand phasers, the Work Bee. We were introduced to these in Star Trek The Next Generation. Torpedo bays, main engineering. It shows you a nice illustration. I think this is the Enterprise refit. Very nice. And of course, one of my favorite, most iconic photos, the promotional photo for Star Trek The Next Generation. Just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. More uniforms. Starfleet insignias, the environmental suits. The universal translator, they've used that quite a bit through the years. The tricorder, the communicator, the phaser, the Type 2. Now I have shown you the communicator and the phaser from the WAN company, but most of the information that I had gotten was from this book. So I can fact check it with this and see if it checks out. We got the standard equipment. You guys remember the M5? Dr. Daystrom wanted to totally mechanize the starships where the computer would be running everything, and the computer got too much of his personality and it didn't end up working out. Intership communications. I've actually done a video for you guys for the panel, the communication panel. The captain's quarters, the crew's quarters. We got Mr. Spock's quarters. And we have Lieutenant Uhura. I think that's when she saw the captain during with a Tholian web. We've seen Dr. McCoy's quarters, Captain Kirk's quarters, the botanical facilities. It was funny because some of the plants actually looked like a hand in a glove or like a mitten, but it got the point across. You still have to have something like that in deep space with the plant life. The hyperspray, the medical instruments, you can see the tray, the biocomputer tricorder, the medical tricorder, the decompression chamber, the bio beds. It's probably not long before we actually see these in real life, like so much from Star Trek that's come to be. Sick bay. A lot of you may not know the layout to sick bay on the Enterprise. Of course, Dr. McCoy was in charge. Nurse Chapel was his main assistant. Weapons and defense. This is going to be a great one. Photon torpedoes, the shields, the phasers, the computer sensor system. We got the shuttlecraft Galileo. Of course, this was Mr. Spock's first command. Love it. Turbo lifts, the Jeffries tubes, transporter room, the sensor dish. This is going to be, oh man, I'm geeking out right now, guys. The impulse engines, propulsions, engineering, main engineering, the engineering station, right down to the instrument panels, monitoring, dilithium degradation, system analysis, the ship intake. Oh man, I'm just like, I'm so geeking out right now, guys. I'm like in Star Trek heaven right now. The captain's chair, the main bridge, and this is an illustration of our beloved Enterprise. See, my older book has the photon torpedoes coming out of there, and we know that that's not totally accurate. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. More about the Enterprise. Let's see another gorgeous picture of her with the nacelles lit. And it looks like we have the newer versions of the tricorders, the phasers, Type 2, And we got the insignias and the ranks. And this looks like it could be Captain Pike's Enterprise from Discovery. And I showed you guys the model kit from Polar Lights with the lighting kit and the Aztecing decals that we're going to do. Beautiful. This will be a good reference for that. You can see a full shot of her. It's a nice Enterprise. We got the laser cannon. You guys remember in the cage they were trying to break through the top in order to rescue the captain from the Telosians. We got the communicator and the phaser, the equipment, the transporter room, captain's quarters, the main bridge of that ship, and I showed you guys that picture. And this is just going to be so much fun to go through. Oh my goodness. I love it. Absolutely love it, and I can't wait to start my project. So what I'm going to be doing, the first video I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing the history of the U.S.S. Enterprise, NCC-1701. And after I do that video, I'm going to do a video on the NCC-1701-A. What I'd like to do is do a history video on all of the ships, from the A, B, C, D, or as Mr. Scott said, no bloody A, no bloody D, no bloody C. The android told me I could see my ship. So, that's going to be an amazing project. And when it comes to the Enterprise, there's a lot of stuff that I have knowledge of that I've gotten from this one. Let me see if I can show you guys what I was talking about. Just the little differences. Again, this is 1975, so let's not judge this too harshly. But I want to show you the part of the Enterprise. This is the Dreadnought class. This is the Scout class, the Destroyer. Okay, we get to the Heavy Cruiser. And you can see they have the photon torpedoes where they're actually coming out of the top. Well, we've always seen the phasers and the photon torpedoes come out the bottom where the sensor dome is. We've got the Heavy Cruiser class, which of course is the Constitution class. So this is where I get a lot of my information. And look, they can actually show you the patterns if you want to do the uniform. I mean, right down to the Starfleet underwear. Check it out. I mean, that's just talk about detail. Lieutenant Uhura's undergarments, or Nurse Chapel's under things. Show you how to make them. I love this book. This book has been part of my life for a long time, so I am always going to love the technical manual. So this book is always going to be with me. And let's see if I can fact check a lot of them, or if this one agrees with that book. So my friends, I just wanted to show you this book, my new reference, and the videos that I'm going to have coming out are going to be on the U.S.S. Enterprise and the U.S.S. Enterprise A. And eventually I'd like to do them all, but we'll start with those two. So my friends, until that video comes out, I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Live long and prosper.